But Mayor Johnson says the budget approved by aldermen and enacted without his signature is forcing the administration to cut back on expenses, such as how buildings are maintained. The city's janitorial provider laid off 9 workers after the city cut its spending on those services. The mayor suggests it could have been avoided.
The beginning point of my budget was progressive revenue. And there were alders who rejected that.
He's talking about that $80 million corporate head tax on Chicago's largest employers. The mayor says he's working with state leaders to find a way to extract more revenue from companies and wealthier Chicagoans, but suggests people who are against that approach can't criticize the cuts the city has to make.
You can't have it both ways.
We're at City Hall. Jeff Buckles, News Radio 105.9. WBBM.
Meanwhile, the mayor is suggesting his executive order that dealt with ICE activities in Chicago does not inject politics into whether to charge federal agents with violations of the law. The mayor's comments are the first since Cook County State's Attorney Eileen O'Neill Burke criticized part of the order, telling police commanders to save evidence and present it to prosecutors at the direction of the mayor's office. She suggested that could jeopardize cases if they're found to have been politically motivated, but the mayor says that's not what it means.
I wanted to give clear direction to my police department, our police department, around how we can collect evidence, preserve it, and then use that evidence to be able to bring before the state's attorney, and then, like any other case, the state's attorney's autonomy and authority to determine whether or not the evidence is sufficient enough to be able to move forward with prosecution.
He says his team is still talking to the state's attorney's office about that. A Chicago man sentenced to 28 years in prison for kidnapping and sex trafficking.
After hearing from all 5 of his victims, including a 15-year-old girl, a jury convicted then 33-year-old Dennis Williams last March. One shared how in August of 2022, he lured her into his truck and she escaped by jumping from it while it was moving. Another said in early 2023, Williams locked her in a closet and forced her to have sex with strangers. She escaped by jumping out of a second-story window. Federal prosecutors said while the people he victimized are now free of his grasp, the harm Williams inflicted is likely to reverberate throughout the rest of their lives. Nancy Hardy, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
A man has been transferred from Iowa to Illinois to face charges after allegedly shooting and killing another man in Hyde Park back in 2024.
Chicago police say 56-year-old Christopher Maxwell was charged with murder for killing 29-year-old Joseph Cook in August of 2024. Maxwell was arrested in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and extradited to Chicago. Police say the shooting happened on August 22nd of 2024 around 4:20 p.m. near 53rd Street and Kinbark Avenue in Nichols Park. Cook was standing outside when police say he got into a fight with Maxwell, who then shot Cook in the neck. Cook was pronounced dead at the hospital. Carolina Garibay, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The state of Illinois looking to phase out plastic bags. Lawmakers are considering a bill that would charge shoppers a fee for carry-out bags in hopes to restrict the use over the next few years. If passed, retail stores and grocery stores would charge customers 10 cents per plastic bag starting January 1st of next year. That fee would increase by 5 cents each year afterwards, meaning it could cost you up to 25 cents per bag come 2030. Students and seniors on the city's south side sending some love to veterans ahead of Valentine's Day weekend.
We're at Smith Village at 113th Place and Western Avenue. Students from St. Cajetan School are collaborating with seniors to come up with messages for the cards that have attached.
I'm busy today, huh?
Pocket hugs. We met Logan Boyd and Dylan Moss, 8th graders.
So we're going to make cards and write inspiring messages to the veterans. Tell them good things or maybe even a joke.
19th Ward Alderman Matt O'Shea started this 11 years ago.
It's a valuable lesson in a world that is so upside down, the difference between empathy and sympathy.
Logan and Dylan were at a table with Julie Carstrand.
I think it's fabulous. My husband was a veteran, and I can really appreciate what young people are doing.
The veterans who will receive the cards are part of Rush University Medical Center's Road Home program. The hearts were donated by the Quilted Trunk. In Beverly, Mike Krauser, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
408, traffic and weather together on the 8th. Here's Neil Fiorito.
We'll start on the tollways this time. Still a pretty big backup on the Veterans Memorial southbound, passing Roosevelt to the Ronald Reagan tollway. Crash cleanup there. Looks like everything's off on the right shoulder. Still, to avoid delay, you might want to use Route 53 and take that southbound instead. We have crash cleanup in Will County, so causing a delay on I-55 south from I-80 to before US 6. On the Edens Expressway through the north suburbs, you're backed up inbound before Tower Road to Old Orchard, and then a backup from Peterson to the junction. 32 inbound, your right outbound looks great. On the Kennedy inbound, brake lights before Cumberland to pass the Wintrust Mural near North Avenue, just on your right side of the expressway. 45 in, you're about the same going out to O'Hare. On the Eisenhower out, 47 to Manheim and hour 7 to the Jane Addams. Traffic is very heavy, leaving the Jane Byrd interchange out to the Reagan Tollway. Coming in on 290, 1 hour from I-90 and 35 in from Manheim. Stevenson getting out to the Midway Airport exit at Cicero Avenue, 38 minutes. 55 to the Tri-State, hour 8 to the Veterans, you're 45 in. On the south side, the Dan Ryan is 45 out. Heavy the whole way, no relief all the way to the split. Brake lights, unfortunately, coming inbound, you're at 18. Slight delays on 57, but not bad on the Ford at all. Through South Lakeshore Drive, traffic on either side of Chicago Avenue. You're packed in through Graham Park and then again southbound as you make your way into Hyde Park. In Northwest Indiana, a pretty good ride today. Your next report from the Metro Traffic Center, 418 News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
All right, Neil, thank you. For the rest of today, breezy and warmer, temperatures in the 40s. Aurora hit 50 at one point, partly cloudy tonight, a low of 25, a high near 40 tomorrow. Inching toward the 50s again for the end of the week. 43 at O'Hare now, 41 in Wheeling, 38 Lakefront. We've got winds out of the northwest, gusting at 23 miles an hour. Makes it feel a little colder. A mixed day on Wall Street today. The Dow up 53, S&P and the NASDAQ fell. It is 4:10.
Sometimes the thought of being in your warm and cozy home is what gets you through the day. But what happens when you get home and there is no heat? Who do you call for fast, reliable service? 24 hours.
What's up, everybody? SubX.News on the spot reporting. 4:10 p.m. February 10th, 2026. Thanks for tuning in. It's a beautiful day here in Chicago. I got it on my car. It's 44 degrees out. It's like springtime. I'll open my windows. Have me a coffee, open my windows. Ooh. Hope everybody's doing good. I don't know what's going to happen today. We're trying to think of different things to do, different things to talk about. There's a lot of stuff happening. I put a lot of articles up. Maybe I'll talk about some of the stuff that I put up, because I put up a lot of things at night, and maybe I'll talk some about that. That way oh man, there's a lot of bad traffic there. I don't see that there. The S curve is bad. I guess what I'm saying is I have a lot of information I put out there because I'm a news junkie, so maybe I'll start talking about some of that so you can find it. There's some things that I'm looking for. Maybe you guys can help me find it. People say, well, I can't post certain things. Let me hear the news.
Federal level, specifically how the government defines homelessness, are making it harder to count. Considering Chicagoans who are forced to stay on someone else's couch, referred to as doubling up, are not included in the federal definition. Report also finds black and brown residents are far more likely to experience homelessness in Chicago than white residents. Systemic racism is the leading cause, and that funding and policy changes are required to help turn things around. Andy Day, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Chicago police trying to figure out what made a rideshare driver sick on the job last night. Officers and firefighters responded to a hazardous incident in the 2200 block of North Monticello. The rideshare driver and passenger picked up a package in Logan Square before getting sick. The man and woman taken to the hospital. They're expected to recover, but detectives are now working to determine what was inside and whether it posed any risk to the public. New report from the American Jewish Committee suggests 1 out of 3 Jewish people surveyed say they were targets of anti-Semitic incidences last year.
The hatred that's left against one community is left to fester. It never just stays with that community, and that's why anti-Semitism is a problem for everybody.
Those words coming from Sarah Van Loon, the regional director of the American Jewish Committee. Their 2025 State of Anti-Semitism in America report suggests 55% of people surveyed say they've had to change their behavior out of fear of anti-Semitism, and 9 out of 10 people feel less safe as Jewish people here in the U.S. Sarah says this should be a wake-up call for everyone.
This is an issue for all people. This is a warning sign for the foundation of our society, and it's time that all members of society take action. This impacts all of our communities.
Glenn Marshall, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Hi, I'm Jack Arnold from Arnold Electric.
What's up, everybody? So yeah, as I was talking about earlier, I got so much information out there. I want to maybe start saying, hey, I found this, I found that. Make sure to check it out. Kind of. Let me turn that down. maybe important stuff that happened overnight, like that drug that has had. I reported that last night. That was a strange thing that they said it was a hazmat thing, and it was weird about drugs. Something about drugs on the north side of Chicago, right? Were found in an Uber car, but then there's no follow-up report. You hear WBBM's talking about it. They don't know what it's about. So look, if a little guy like me don't know nothing about it, then how's, right? And then WBBM tries to figure it out. They don't know about it. Then that means what? The police are hiding it. And I'll tell you this. I'm doing some, I call it experimental FOIAs to check something. And that's all. Man, they got a lot of cops out here. Lots of cops. I'm doing experimental. Hey, what's up, Ms. Zidor? I'm doing man, there's cops everywhere. I can at least have a dozen cops walking around here. I'm doing experimental FOIAs to see what happens. That's all I gotta say.
Savings on select.
So to see who gets what information, right? I was just getting I renewed my media credentials today, and I seen a lot of these big news organizations there, and I don't want to say nothing. You know, the news is the news, whether it's a big corporate news or one man operation like me or Justin or whoever else, right? We're doing our best to collect what we can that's out here.
AccuWeather 5-day forecast sponsored by
Let's listen to the weather. It's going to be nice.
Electric. Feeling nice today, Brian Thompson.
Yeah, feeling very nice outside, Lisa. We had temperatures get well into the 40s, even touch 50 in some spots this afternoon. Keep in mind, we have not gotten to 40 degrees before today in Chicago since the 14th of January. It's been almost a month since it has been this warm across the area, but we have more of this to come. It's going to cool off just a little bit over the next couple of days, and then a nice warm up toward the end of the week. Tonight we'll drop to 27 under a partly cloudy sky, partly to mostly sunny tomorrow, breezy, but again a little bit cooler than today. Highs will be closer to 40 rather than 50, and then a low of 27 tomorrow night as clouds increase. High of 39 on Thursday with more in the way of clouds, but like I said, a nice warm up coming again as we get into the weekend. Clouds and some sunshine on Friday, a high of 48, back up to 50 Saturday as sunshine mixes with clouds, so we may very well get into the 50s heading into Sunday. 43 degrees at O'Hare right now, 45 at Midway, 43 in Schaumburg. It's 40 at the lakefront. We're going down to 27 tonight. Now back here by the meteorologist, Brian Thompson.
Brian, thank you. It is 4:16. Time to visit Lover Motors Mercedes-Benz. And here's Mike Esposito.
Lisa, sounds like baseball weather, and it is because the Super Bowl is over, which means spring training is here. Camp open today for the White Sox, and Rick Gregg has more.
The Cubs don't officially throw open their doors in Arizona until tomorrow, but today was the day for GM Chris Getz and the White Sox.
We're excited. There's a fair amount of momentum that's been created, both because of the second half last year, some of the acquisitions that we were able to make in the offseason. But I know that Will's really focused to start at ground zero.
Will is Will Venable, the manager who saw the Sox improve by 21 wins last year, and who got a new slugger in his lineup, courtesy Getz, Munetaka Murakami.
Yeah, we're all excited. I think he's one of those hitters when he steps in the box you're going to want to watch.
There won't be much of Mooney to see in person this spring. Murakami's there now, but he'll leave for the World Baseball Classic in a couple of weeks and return for the regular season. Covering the White Sox, Rick Gregg, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Minor trade for the Sox today. They send lefty Brian Hudson to the Mets for cash considerations. As for the Cubs, their pitchers and catchers go to Mesa tomorrow. First full squad workout will happen on Monday. Lots of position players, though, already there in camp. Future Hall of Famer Justin Verlander heading back to the Detroit Tigers, where he started his career, $13 million for 1 year. Verlander turns 43 in about a week. He's got 3,553 strikeouts on his career. Basketball, the Bulls have lost 5 straight and 8 of 9. They'll try to stop the bleeding tomorrow night in Boston. They have been winless since the trade deadline and winless in the calendar month of February. College basketball downstate tonight in Champaign. The Illini against Wisconsin. Notre Dame plays at SMU while Marquette visits Villanova, and an intra-Illinois battle, Western versus Eastern. I'm Mike Esposito from 104.3 The Score on News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
All right, Mike, thank you. Sponsored by
Has anybody noticed anything? I'm on Michigan Avenue here. What do you notice? There ain't nobody here. It's Michigan Avenue. You notice that or not? This is where I'm at. You see where I'm at? How many people have you counted? We always do people counting, right? We always do people counting. That's what we do. SubX.News, right? That's why I'm sitting here, right? You see anybody walking? SubX.News. See that there? It's 4:20 p.m. You're looking south on Michigan Avenue, right? We're at Ohio. Ohio is right behind us. There's a bunch of cops right there. You'll see the cops right there. I don't know what they're guarding there. See that there? See the police officers? They're walking around. I don't know what they're guarding. It's abandoned here. See that there? This is an abandoned store, by the way, right there. This is Michigan Avenue. We'll sit here for a second. You can count how many people you see.
The Veterans Tollway, still a backup southbound Roosevelt to the Reagan as the crash gets cleaned up. Looking at Northwest Indiana, you're doing A-OK. Traffic sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield, your one local healthcare partner you trusted from the beginning. Always ensuring the widest access to the right care at the time at the right value. Believe in a world of wellness, knowing Blue Cross will forever keep your story at the center.
There you go. It's a ghost town. It's 4:20. Here, I'll show you across the street. There you go. This is Ohio, right there behind me. Look at it. There's no one there. It's abandoned. There's no one walking here. That's south, right? The river's in front of us. Wrigley Building.
Stocks finished mixed today. The Dow up, S&P and NASDAQ down. It's 4:20. Our top story this hour: Illinois primaries are a little over a month away, but the Chicago Board of Elections is reminding you can vote early. It's the brand new downtown supersite. We're going to have a preview coming up at 4:31. Well, some parents of children with complex medical conditions say they face challenges when it comes to the medical devices needed to care for them at home.
Those devices include ventilators, oxygen monitors, feeding pumps, and suction machines. And according to researchers at Ann and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital, parents they interviewed say many of the devices have design flaws. The researchers say to improve the safety of the devices, parents' feedback should be included in the design process. The interviews were part of a study that also found parents voicing concerns about the process to get the devices for home care and the lack of communication and education about the products. The study's findings were recently published in the Journal of Pediatrics. Maya Martinez, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Valentine's Day is only a few days away, which usually means one thing: flowers. Manager of Chicago Florists, a tree grows in Brooklyn, Sarah Weniker says at both of their locations they have brought in extra staff, are loading vans, and preparing for a fast-paced week. Still popular? The traditional rose.
We have some different varieties that aren't like your standard roses. Some of them have petals with like zebra prints on them, so they're a little funkier. It's a variety. There's so many different varieties of roses. I can't even name all of the roses that are out there. But yeah.
Weniker says her last-minute shoppers always tend to be the husbands and boyfriends who tend to be the majority of procrastinators. She says the store expects to arrange and deliver hundreds of bouquets in the next few days. Their second busiest day of the year, Mother's Day. Bloomberg Business coming up.
That first year in your new home matters.
So everybody who knows Michigan Avenue, that's what you're watching here, right? There ain't nobody here. So and people say, oh, when I started doing this 3 years ago, I was getting attacked by white liberal men, basically, mostly real estate guys. They were selling condos down here, pretending it was good. They were part of that first wave with Brandon Johnson lying about the city. And they said, oh, you're stupid. You're stupid. You're stupid. It's 6 o'clock. You're stupid. Oh, it's 4 o'clock. You're stupid. It's too cold. You're stupid. Oh, it's rainy. You're stupid. I have all these kind of, I'm going to get you guys these ones. There's a whole bunch of these guys that used to tell me that. I get it still now. Look, it's 4:24. It's 45 degrees. There ain't nobody out here. And you got to remember, there's the office workers, there's the store workers, there's the tourists, there's the business people. There's multiple levels of industry in Chicago that used to be here. So all three are wiped out. They're all wiped out. There is nothing here. That's the point I'm trying to make. It isn't. People will say, then the next thing they'll say that I'm a negative guy. I'm against Chicago. First of all, I've lived here all my life. All my family lives in Chicago. I love the city. I'm just showing what's going on. This is the reality, right? This is the truth. What you're watching is Michigan Avenue. This is Michigan Avenue. It looks like a Sunday morning. That's what you're watching, right? But I'm not making this up, and it's live, right? We're live on the radio.
Closing bell from Lyft, which says it lost $185 million on legal fees, taxes, settlements, and more. Pushing a disappointing forecast for the current quarter. With business at 23 and 53 from the Bloomberg Newsroom, Tom Busby, News Radio 105.9.
Still lots of delays on 355 because of a crash. We're going to get the details coming up with Neil.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck. I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It's 4:25 p.m. February 10th, 2026, a Tuesday. You see, that's an abandoned building here. We're on the Mag Mile. We're going south from Ohio Street. Ohio Street's in back of us. That's the river in front of us. You can see there's no one there. It's 45 degrees. It's the height of rush hour. It's 4:26. So it's 4:26 p.m. It's 45 degrees. It's a Tuesday. When I just came down here, I do some things every day. The first thing my passengers said, they said, wow, it's completely empty. Look at that. There's no one walking around. There's no one walking here. This is the third largest city in the United States of America. Look at this. There's no one walking there. There's zero. SubX.News on the spot reporting. Michigan Avenue going southbound. It's 4:26 p.m. There's no one here on Michigan Avenue. See that there? All you hear is sirens, right? That's it. That's a cop car in back of me. See that there? There's just cops. Look, there's no one walking here. See that there? No one. It's the height of rush hour. It's 4:27. It's 45 degrees. There's no one here. Zero. And you're like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Sure I do. And you got weirdos that are doing Ubers beeping their horns at you. Look at, there's another business closed. You see that one closed there? What's the big thing? It's Valentine's week. It's Valentine's week. You take the week off, right? You take care of your lady. It doesn't matter because there's business people here.